Future Ascended Masters and Gods and Goddesses in Training, welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we are talking about Primal Sutra as a model. Primal Sutra is a collective sangha. It is a movement. It is a philosophy of going back to oneness, wholeness, primordial Om. It is a unification movement that bridges the human experience with divine purpose. And today I want to speak to you guys about why our path is an Atlantean path and what we've begun to understand about this. So why is our path an Atlantean path? This is a very important question to first of all break down before we go into the rest of this video, which will be talking all about how to understand Atlantean technology. So first and foremost, we are known as Primal Sutra. We work a lot with peak performance shamanism and looking towards different archetypes, different energy patterns and deities that we can connect to that make our lives swifter, easier, much better. And we've discovered a few Atlantean beings, including Thoth, and of course, my higher self is associated with Sanat Kumara. Ryan G's higher self associated with Serapis Bey, and even a lot of the adepts in our path working. I've noticed that these synchronicities of Atlantis reborn keeps showing up, right? Keeps coming back as a theme, as a loop, as something that connects our water path with peak performance and bridging these different timelines together to create this ripple effect, okay? So first and foremost, with the energy of Iwamus, Sanat Kumara, and Serapis Bey, we are now starting to understand the dynamism that is needed for us to create this new awakening movement, that people start to return back to the root, back to the primal again, in order to reconnect with their sense of their own inner ultra instinct, so they can live there, they can understand how to move with it. They're not going to get sidetracked into that world. They're going to be very, very powerfully connected. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for you to be powerfully connected to the present moment, to your own path working, to your own inner sacred divine purpose. And hopefully with that divine purpose, you magnetize and you also call in your soul partnership. Of course, I found my twin synergy within. I am connected to Sanat Kumara, the divine will. My partner is associated with Lady Venus. She's associated with divine love. If you know Plato, the Greek philosopher, he spilled a lot of tea on Atlantis. He made it sound like the ultimate power move of his time. It's a civilization that conquered lands, that mastered technology, that pushed the boundaries, and like every empire that flies too close to the sun, their downfall wasn't some random accident. It was their own ego. So for the fact that we're recreating this from a flow state path working, where we work with ego death and moments of egolessness, I think it's really important for us to understand how they master their technology, how they push the boundaries, so we don't fall into the same patterns that they did. You understand that hubris was their downfall. Now, as Primal Sutra, we gotta come in and understand that Atlantis was a place where science and spirituality were not so far apart. There wasn't this huge drift or this huge polarization between the two. The crystals powered cities, anti-gravity, which made flying ships very normal. Some even say there's genetic engineering, like hybrids going into this. It wasn't just advanced, it was a quantum leap beyond anybody else. So forget solar panels, right guys? Like, what if we were to just tap into this crystalline grid frequencies, right? Think Tesla coils, but vibrationally charged. Atlanteans weren't just flipping light switches. They were tapping into frequencies. I honestly think this is why we in the modern traditions use crystals. This is why crystal technology and people using crystals or even obtaining crystals has become this thing, this recent trend for the spiritual communities, not even understanding that it has link to Atlantis. Atlanteans didn't just build boats. They fused ships with the sea itself. Their ships were designed with the natural elements, could breathe with the waves. So precision navigation led to better ships. Better ships made navigation even crazier, and the cycle fed itself. So they were the OG ocean kings. I mean, eco-friendly yacht builders are just like scratching the surface of what Atlantis has done. They had like UFOs, bro. They had anti-gravity. They understood gravity like a cheat code. Flying vehicles, floating platforms. What are you talking about? It was almost like Atlantis was in the Jetsons era. Well, the rest of the world was still figuring out what life is. Atlantis wasn't just tweaking around with plants, they were tweaking around with DNA. Superhumans, hybrid creatures, optimized genetics. They weren't waiting for evolution, they were sculpting it. Some say that they even made chimeras. The technology that we have called CRISPR for gene replication and so forth, it's like baby stuff compared to what they were doing. Atlantis didn't just farm, they had hydroponics, controlled growing. Well, their methods were very eco-friendly, self-replenishing, completely aligned with the frequency of nature. Well, think of energy-infused cities. The buildings aren't just structures, they're conductors of energy. It's monolithic structures, geometry fused with energy grids. Though some of the ancient sites today that we see, like the pyramids, temples, or stone circles, this might be leftover of Atlantean tech, guys, right? And I'm only speaking from my perspective, okay? You can take what I say with a grain of salt. You don't have to believe that we're going back into an Atlantean age, or none of that. Maybe you're just fascinated with this stuff and you want to do your own research and find out. That's valid for me too, okay? You can take this how you want, read the disclaimer. So Atlanteans didn't just talk, they telepathized, okay? That's a new word, right? Telepathic communication, meaning their thoughts could actually sync up like some kind of a neural network. So today's AI tech and Neuralink is actually, it could be just a scientific mimicry of what Atlantis did spiritually. So Atlantis wasn't destroyed, as a lot of people think. It was self-destructed. Power without spiritual grounding leads to corruption. So their ambition outgrew their ethics. The moment that they lost connection to the divine and started playing God without wisdom, nature hit the reset button on them. So you could have the most advanced technology in the universe, but if you're out of harmony with the divine order of things, nature will check you. So we need sustainable power, just like Atlantis had these energy grids. Instead of exploring nature, let's work with it. Let's work alongside it, kind of like the Avatar movie, how they, plug in or whatever. Like there's a certain way that we can fuse with our environments, an eco-friendly, sustainable, ascending way. So medicine of the future should treat mind, body, spirit, and soul, not just the health symptoms. Urban planning should be vibration friendly, creating the specific kinds of morphic tones, resonance towers, full of positive vibrational energy. What if we could actually have that technology, guys? Right? I'm just talking about it, but somebody will listen to this, possibly, maybe even a designer, hear this, watch this video, and take action on it. That's the power that we have with our words, with our consciousness. One idea can change the world, as we heard from Shivaji a few nights ago in the Shivratri channeling. So power isn't the problem, intention is. It isn't just a lost city. And I gotta rewatch that movie, guys, by the way. There's many movies I know. I'm gonna do a binge watch fest. It was a warning and it was a blueprint. So we're at a crossroads now. Repeat the fall, trying it your own way. Or are you going to evolve consciously alongside Primal Sutra? The choice is yours. This is where some of us will divide. You'll go your own way. And Primal Sutra will keep ascending upwards, because we are the upward spiral gang. Started from the bottom, now we hit. That's a Atlantis theme song, right? Because it's like, it was flooded, and now we're up here. Now we're, recreating it. Atlanteans weren't just advanced in technology, they were masters of consciousness, energy manipulation, self-evolution. They had flow state superhumans, individuals that mastered mental mastery, physical excellence, energetic science, spiritual athleticism is something that we really look forward to and talk about on this channel, which is basically merging the shaman and the scientist to unlock full biohacking potential. They lived in full coherence, right? Mind, body, soul operated as one unit. So they could hold on to what is called the golden frequency. They understood flow state as a harmonic resonance of the cosmic field. Instead of grinding through resistance, they tuned their energy fields in sync with the universe. So Atlantean training methods for flow were like tuning fork meditations. We could use this, right? This is stuff that I'm getting from Zengif, a particular deity that we have connected through the Atlantean frequency. And he is a DJ for Atlantis, so the kind of music even is very, very interesting. If you ever can attend one of our channelings with Zengif, or perhaps it might be a very, very good idea. Trance synchronization, like we're breathing in movement, creates an instant peak state. Psionic warfare, psychic projection, like the Jedis were onto something there, right? Fluid power, movement arts that channeled planetary energy through the body, like Tai Chi, Kundalini, Krav Maga, any kind of movement fluid practices that you can tap into. Again, they didn't try to perform, they entered states where peak performance was automatic for them. So think of Atlantean leadership as the philosopher kings. Their rulers weren't just politicians, they were warrior scholars. And I think this is a really, really important aspect. I mean, think Plato meets Bruce Lee meets Nikola Tesla. That's a badass, right? Immediately he gets my badass stamp, because that's one of the highest leaders that has gone through intense initiations. You can already tell, right? Mind, body, soul, just like completely sharpened. Mind of Plato, the body of Bruce Lee, and the soul of Nikola Tesla, like, or you could flip any of those, right? Like, think about that. Mental purification, energetic mastery, emotional neutrality, right? Complete control over reactions and responses. They were trained to wield power responsibly, but over time they become obsessed with control, bioenhancement, ego-based godhood. They wanted to be gods. This led to their downfall. We always know that we are gods in training, so we got this call, this understanding. But we also know that we are an elite warrior class that's trained in the spiritual arts of metaphysical combat. Atlanteans weren't just fighters, they were energy guardians who protected their own sacred flow state, you could call it. They might have had another word for this, by the way. There's many different symbols that you might see that associate with Atlantis too. Of course, you had the energetic stealth. They had lightning fast reflexes, so they trained the nervous system responses far beyond normal human limits. And also they channeled chi, or energy fields of actual force in battle. So there would be kind of like an aura weaponization. And they operate in several states of consciousness at once. So they had this thing called multi-dimensional awareness, okay? Multi-dimensional awareness. And shout out to Will DeRude, who we had on our podcast, old podcast a while back. And yeah, we spoke about this, how entities affect the nervous system and so forth. So if you have a very sharp nervous system, you have a very sharp way of attracting these specific higher intelligences, higher beings, ascended masters, and so forth. Atlantis wasn't just a place, it was a state of being, according to me. So their mastery over consciousness, energy, performance made them gods of their own reality. Now imagine this level of mastery into your own life, where hubris doesn't crush us down, but we have peak flow, we have boundless energy, and we have effortless excellence. And this is just the blueprint that's within all of us. I truly believe it. And we just have to reactivate it. We just have to remember it. We just have to know that we have some kind of a strange Atlantean DNA working within us that is activating. And as you're listening to me, maybe some words like the Firestone, the Central Atlantis Reactor, or quantum energy fields, if I say these words, You get excited, right? You go, oh wow, psycho-spiritual technologies, right? Neurofeedback, psychedelics, AI, consciousness mapping, right? These are all Atlantean ideas, guys, right? Atlantis, water-based concepts like hydrosonic healing or kymatics, all that stuff, right? Merkaba light body vehicles, VR, holographic projection, biolocation. This kind of stuff is coming out of Atlantean tech. Of course, they also had anti-gravity and sonic levitation. Now imagine we had vibroacoustic engineering and we could actually create these sonic adventures where we would take people into altered states of mind, have them install years of wisdom, right, and knowledge, and just put them into a hyper-focus chamber or something and have them train for a year, become like fully formed into it, and then we prime them into another environment. Of course, these are just ideas for now, I'm just spitballing. But this is not about nostalgic mysticism. Oh no, the lost days of Atlantis, and I want to bring it back. No, this is a new human pivotal movement. So it's a NEO-ATLANTEAN mastery. Atlanteans mastered energy, we master responsibility. They expanded consciousness, we must integrate our consciousness. They built a utopia that collapsed, we must build one that sustains. So this legacy is ours to reclaim, guys. Who's ready? Because I am. I'm feeling excited about this. What technology excites you most to integrate into Primal Sutra's future work? Let me know in the comments. Perhaps some ideas are coming up for you. Really, really interesting topic. I'm seeing a lot of things being connected to, we already use some of this technology, right, guys? The digital mandala technology of creating light codes using AI. We use a lot of frequencies, sounds, subliminals, this kind of stuff too, right? Morphic resonance fields. And this kind of stuff is just barely scratching the surface as we're starting to discover more and more layers of how to be an actual peak performance shaman in this matrix, right? How to be how to be a mind, body, spirit hacker, right? That's really what we're doing. We're understanding our own inner mechanism and we're letting it lead us to the elixir of life within. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang, thank you so much for tapping in. What is your role in this divine humanity? What role are you playing? If you could have a new job title in Atlantis, what would it be? Are you a priestess queen? Are you a warrior king? Are you a priest king? Are you a sacred medicine man or woman? Are you all of the above? You see what I'm saying? What is your multidimensional awareness telling you? If you have access to all timelines, and we're talking about, shout out TXL, there are no past lives. It's all parallel lives. Parallel lives running simultaneously through the one, the nowness, the eternitas that moves through us all. It's not past lives, it's parallel lives. That's right. So let all the energy of your ancestors and future ancestors move with you like peers, side by side. Now you have your entire army, not only your 7-nation army of your 7 chakras, but also the army that is beyond, from connecting you to the past, connecting you to the future. Your lineage, that specific code, that chi line that just keeps adapting every time that you are reincarnated. This is fascinating stuff, guys. I hope this resonates with you. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. Let's go. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. May the flow be with you. Let's go. Upward Spiral.